Hello everyone. So I'm back after a long time with another chapter. It's called Working with NumPy. But this generally is not for the computer science students. It's for students who have taken informatics practices. Okay, so now what is this NumPy? NumPy is basically another library or another module that you can import in your program, and you can use all the functionalities of that module. Now let me relate it to the math module that you have learned initially. If I wanted to use the functionalities of the math module, like I wanted to use the sqrt function, or let's say the POW function of the math module or the math library, what did you do? You imported that module into your program and then made use of all these functions. Similarly, using the NumPy library, you can make use of the functionalities of the NumPy module. But what basically is done by the NumPy module? The NumPy module basically stands for Numerical Python. This module helps us to create a data structure or a data type called arrays. Okay, so this chapter is going to be dealing with arrays. Now, what's an array? The next question that arises in your mind is, what's an array? Okay, so an array is nothing but a collection of elements. So here I'm telling you that NumPy stands for Numerical Python. It's a library that you can import into your program, and it helps us to create arrays. Okay, so now what's an array? Array is nothing but a collection of elements that are of the same kind, okay, or the same data type. That means all the elements of the array are either integers, or all are floating point, or all are strings, or all are complex, and so on. Okay, and all these elements are stored under a single name. So all these so-called elements that you store in an array will have only one name, the name of the array. Then how do you differentiate between each of those elements? Is each of those elements will have an index location associated with it, or an index number associated with it. Now, index number is not new to you for sure, because you have seen indexing in strings, you have seen indexing in lists, you must have also seen indexing in tuples if you have done tuples under the computer science subject. Okay, so each of these elements in the array are going to be identified by its index number. And like the string or the list or the tuple, the indexing starts from 0. Okay. Now, if you look, many people say, oh, that is the same thing what a list does. So there is some kind of a similarity between a list and an array, but there are differences as well. Okay. Now, I will tell you about that a little later. Now, the NumPy array comes in many forms. You can have an array which is one-dimensional, which looks something like this drawn on the screen. Okay, I have drawn it horizontally. You could have drawn it vertically, doesn't matter. It's one-dimensional. Normally, when we talk about in maths, when I talk about a line, we say a line is one-dimensional. Whether I draw it from top to bottom or whether I draw it from left to right, it is a one-dimensional structure. Similarly, you have one-dimensional arrays where you have stored list of elements. Either you think about the list of elements going from left to right, or you think of elements going from top to bottom, doesn't matter. It has only one dimension, and we say that it has only one axis. And the only axis that it has is called axis 0. So a one-dimensional array has a single axis, and that's called axis 0. Then a two-dimensional array. A two-dimensional array will look like what I've shown you there. Like, for example, your square, rectangle in maths are two-dimensional arrays. Okay, they have a width and a length, correct? So they are two-dimensional figures. So a two-dimensional array would look like this. If you look into this array, all the elements of the array are floating point elements. Okay, and it has two axes. Axis 0, which talks about the row, and axis 1, which talks about the column. So here I could say that I have 2 rows and I have 3 columns. So this is your 0th row and your first row. This is your 0th column, the first column and the second column. Now here also, if I have to identify this element, I will need to specify the index location. Now here when we talk about index location, the row has an index as well as the column has an index. So you have to refer to both, okay, when we are talking about a two-dimensional array. How do you do that? We will learn it soon. You also have more than two-dimensional arrays, okay? You also have more than two-dimensional arrays. We call them as n-dimensional array, but in this specifically, I call it as a three-dimensional array or a multi-dimensional array. The diagram shows you a three-dimensional array, but when you talk about multi-dimensional array, it means anything that's more than two. Okay, from exam point of view, you will not be referring to three-dimensional or multi-dimensional arrays at all. But if you look at this figure, doesn't it remind you of the cube or the cuboid? And if you remember in maths, you've learned cube and cuboids are three-dimensional figures. Similarly, this element, this array becomes a three-dimensional array where it has three axes. Axis 0 to refer to the rows, axis 1 to refer to the columns, and axis 2 to refer to the width of your so-called multi-dimensional array. Okay, but in this chapter, remember children, we are only going to be talking about one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays. Okay, now you might be thinking that I could have done all this using a list. Correct. Lists and arrays have a similarity. Similarity is both can store elements, both can access the elements either by forward indexing or backward indexing. You remember in the forward indexing, the indexing started from 0, 1, 2 and backward was -1, -2. Same in the case of an array. You can refer to the array elements using either forward indexing or backward indexing. But that's where the similarity ends. Then what are the differences? In a NumPy array, some call it NumPy, okay? In a NumPy array, elements are of the same kind. And that is what you mean by the term homogeneous elements. Elements are of the same kind. So homogeneous. Whereas when you talk about a Python list, it could be homogeneous or heterogeneous. Now you might be thinking, why am I not saying Python array? Because I told you, it's not directly, this array concept that you're learning now is not directly implemented in Python. We are importing external modules and that module is helping me to create arrays in Python. Okay, so in Python, the list could be homogeneous or heterogeneous, but the Python list, but the NumPy arrays are only going to be homogeneous of the same kind. Now, another thing, when you create lists in Python, you can, change its size after its creation. But with a NumPy array, what happens is when you create a NumPy array, you cannot now change its size. You can't make it bigger or small. That means it can't expand or shrink. Okay. Then NumPy arrays support vectorized operations. Okay. That doesn't happen in a list. To understand that, okay, let me assume this is your list, let's say, and it has 2, 3, 7, and 8 as its elements. Now, if I want to multiply each of those elements by, let's say, 5, okay, I will have to go to each of those index locations using a loop and then multiply each of those elements by 5. Okay, that means I would have to loop through the elements and multiply it by 5. Okay, but what happens with a list? Sorry, what happens with an array? An array, assume now this L is not a list, but it's an array. And if I just write L multiplied by 5, what does it do? It multiplies all the elements of the array with number 5. So you get 5 2s are 10, 5 3s are 15, 7 5s are 35, and so on. That is what I mean by vectorized operations. NumPy array allows you to do vectorized operations. That means perform an operation. You specify the operation only once. You don't have to traverse through the elements of the array. It will work for each and every element of the array. But that doesn't happen with a list. Okay. So that's a difference. Okay. Then the other differences are, or in terms of advantages are, that, when you talk about lists, the list is slower when compared to Python. The list uses more memory. Okay, so now let me just put it in the words that is written on the screen. Here it's talking about faster because NumPy arrays are faster because of the way it is stored in memory. NumPy array elements are stored in continuous locations in memory. So when you're accessing NumPy array, it's faster than list elements. List elements, what happens is these elements are stored, somewhat diagrammatically. Let me just show you a diagram of a list so things are a little more clear to you. Suppose when I say, this is a list I have, okay. For ease purpose, I'm putting the elements here, but basically the elements are not here. How does a list look basically? So the list is like this. This refers to an element which is 1. This is referring to an element which is 8. And this is referring to an element which is 3. So it's not into the list that you're actually storing elements. Each of those list locations is referring to the element 1, 8, and 3. Though, you must have learned in class 11, you drew it like this 1, 8, 3. That's our assumptions. Okay, because how it's stored in the background doesn't actually matter to us. Okay, but actually a list is not stored like this. Each of those locations of the list will refer to an element somewhere in memory. But when we talk about an array is perfectly stored like this at continuous locations. It's not referring. It is stored at these locations. So obviously it becomes easier to, faster to access it. When it comes to, using less memory, like we say in a list, it is heterogeneous or homogeneous. So the bytes occupied by the list could be anything depending upon the system, because you could have a mixed data type. Whereas in an array, you only have, homogeneous data type. So all the elements of the array are going to be using up some specific space in memory only. And that is the reason we say it uses less memory. And then I have written there that it's more convenient. Convenient, I just told you that if it's an array, you say the array multiplied by 5 and all the elements get multiplied by 5 and you get an answer. But if you want to multiply all the elements of a list by 5, you will have to traverse through each of those elements. Traversing we have learned in the list chapter, right? You'll have to traverse through each and every element of the list and multiply them by 5. So that's the, the major difference between an array and a list. Another important thing that you need to remember, just let me just clear my screen. Okay, like I said, that if you're going to use NumPy, which is an external module, you will have to import it to your programs, correct? But before importing it, you will also have to install the module. And how do you install the module? By writing pip install NumPy. Now this has to be done if you are not using the Anaconda distribution and you're using any other standard Python distribution. If you're using the Anaconda distribution, you don't have to worry. It's already installed. Is that clear? After you install is where you, do the import lines. Now let me just explain this import line to you so that things are clear, because you may have not written the import like this before. Here I've written import NumPy as NP. I could have avoided this completely and just written import NumPy like I wrote import math earlier in class 11 initial chapters. Okay. But do you remember when we had to call the sqrt function or the POW function, we had to write math.sqrt, M-A-T-H. If I had imported math in my program as import math as M, what does that mean? M is another name for math, and instead of writing math, math, math everywhere, I could write M. Similarly, I've written import NumPy as NP. So what does this NP mean? That it's another name, an alias name for NumPy. Okay. And wherever you had to use the word numpy, you could write NP. Okay. Is that clear? And why did I write NP? Could I write XYZ? Yes, you could write anything, but NP is the most general, alias name used for the numerical Python module. Is that clear? Okay. Let's go ahead then and see what's next for us. Now we're coming to the data type. Oh, I need to, clear my annotations. So let me just clear that first. Okay. Now we're coming to data types of Python, NumPy. We've learned data types of Python. You had int, you had float, you had complex, you had list and tuple and all those. Okay. Similarly, NumPy also has certain data types, quite similar to Python's data type. Okay. You had a data type called bool in Python. Here also I have a data type called bool, but it's bool with an underscore. And that's to store anything which is true or false. And remember one thing, it's giving you the bytes here. So which means that you're going to be using these many bytes. That's why we say, it uses up less space in memory. All the elements, if it's an array consisting of Boolean data type, all the elements will use only 1 byte. I mean, each of those elements. I don't mean the entire array. Each element in your array will use 1 byte. Now, integers itself, you only had int in, in Python. Here, you have int underscore, you have int 8, you have int 16, int 32, int 64. Doesn't matter, they're all integers. That means numbers without decimal places. It's only talking about, the elements that each of those integers can store. For example, if you look at int 8, I said it can store anything from -2 raised to 7 to 2 raised to 7 minus 1. That means the numbers that it can store is -128 to 127. So if you're using the data type int 8, remember you can only store small integers which are in the range -128 to +127. For example, if you're storing your, let's say, roll numbers in the classroom, class int 8 is fine. But if you're storing board roll numbers, you know how big the board roll numbers are, you couldn't be talking about a data type called int 8. You would have to go for something bigger. It could be a 16, it could be a 32, or it could be a int 64. But don't get confused. They are all talking about integers. As the range of numbers it can handle increases, can you see the bytes also increasing? Int 16 is 2 bytes. Int 32 means it's going to occupy 4 bytes for each element of the array. Int 64 means it is going to be occupying 8 bytes. Okay. So now I'll tell you something very easy. If you think your numbers are really small, use int 8. Otherwise, int 32 and int 64, int 32 is good enough for anything else. I'm not saying that if you're storing small numbers, you can't use int 32. You can. But only thing is there would be a wastage of 3 bytes where I needed only 1 byte of storage. Is that clear? Okay, so let's go ahead and see the other data types. The other data types are the float data types, but coming in various forms like float 16, float 32, and float 64. Here also, the smaller floating point numbers, you use float 16 because it uses up only 2 bytes. Float 32 use for bigger ones, and really big ones, you use a float 64 or a float underscore. Similarly, for complex numbers, it's giving you complex 64 or complex 128, depending upon whether your complex numbers are small or big. To avoid all confusion, if you ever think you are in doubt of what should I use int underscore for all integers, use float underscore for all floats, use complex underscore for all complex. But only thing is, remember, there could be wastage of space. Okay. Then strings are stored under 2 categories, strings and Unicode. Now, when we talk about strings, they're talking about only characters allowed with the English language. Okay. So you can, if you're talking about characters that will deal only with English language, you can use the string data type. Okay. And each character will take 1 byte. When you use the Unicode option, it means it can talk about many characters. It's not necessarily, talking about language English. It could be talking about other languages also, or other characters that you type of other languages from your keyboard. So you need to use Unicode. But if you're referring to only the English language characters, you can refer to it as a string. Is that clear? So with this, I've given you a brief about what is an array, how is it different from a list, and how are the data types of an array different from the data types of Python. Okay. Similar names, but with a slight difference in terms of the sizes that each of them occupy. Is that clear? So in the next video, I will teach you how to create an array. Okay. How do I actually make use of the NumPy module and how do I create an array? Okay. Bye. Thank you.